So today we're going to go over PowerPoint skills and working with the really great new template that CE Direct, the marketing department, has put together for us. Okay, so these are going to be the top 6 most common mistakes that most people make when designing their presentation. And we're going to go over all of these today. So first is going to be lack of preparation, choosing the wrong fonts and colors, having poor image quality, being all over the place or lack of organization, having too much info on your slides, and last but not least, not having enough visuals on your slide. Okay, so first mistake we're going to cover is lack of preparation. So before you even open up PowerPoint, I definitely want everyone to remember to try to outline your presentation beforehand. This will help you organize your thoughts, make sure that your information is in a logical order, and it'll just make the process a whole lot easier before you start designing in PowerPoint. 2, you're going to want to prepare for your PowerPoint. So find out who you're exactly presenting to and how long you have to present for. First, are you going to be, presenting for a dealership or a CEO, or are you going to be presenting at a lending conference or for a small credit union? Once you know who you're presenting to, this will help guide you how you will design and present your information, and so it's definitely very important that you find this out beforehand. Also, choose your slide dimensions. We recommend using standard 4x3 dimensions, but again, this is a question you should ask yourself. We'll find out before you present. Find out if you're going to be presenting on a widescreen television or if you're presenting on a computer screen. Again, we recommend standard format, but find out beforehand to choose your best dimensions. And last, select your template and color scheme. And luckily, usually this is where a lot of design problems happen, but CE Direct has made this so much easier for you because we have put together a great collection of assets for you to use for all your presentation designing. So after this presentation, you'll be able to access this presentation that I have pulled up here, but this is going to be where you can find instructions on how to find all these assets. In addition, we'll email you. So how to find the new presentation template we've prepared for you. You're going to go to the Common J Drive. Most of you should already have access to this, but if not, please contact the help desk. So first, find Common J Drive, click on that, and we're going to go to Presentations. Click there. So when you open that up, you'll see there's a copy of my PowerPoint here that I'm presenting to you today. But where we want to go and where you'll want to go is 2015 template. Click on that. And so you'll see here all of the assets, everything you'll need to design a presentation is here. We have presentation assets. So here you'll find photos, graphics for each of the product verticals. You'll find car images here also. And you'll find the Open Sans font, which is the corporate approved font. So make sure that you have that downloaded, and we'll go over that later. Also, you'll find the new presentation template, and you'll also find 2 other templates we have here for you. Definitely look at Who is CE Direct. We have templates for all of the different products for you to copy and paste into your presentation. We also have a blank template presentation, which is you can use that when you're building your own presentation from scratch, and it'll have a lot of resources in there as well. The one we're going to use is the CE Direct presentation template. So let's open that. Okay, so here we go. This is the presentation template that we've created. And first thing I want everyone to do when you do open this up is save your own copy. So let's save as, and then let's just save this to the desktop. And I just want to make sure to stress that please save your own copy. If you end up working on the presentation on the J Drive, you're editing it for the whole company. So definitely make sure you save your own copy on your computer. Okay, so here we have it here. Let me go to Sorter View. Okay, so first slide, I wanted to show you some of the slides that we have in here. So first one we can look at is Who is CE Direct. This is a great one to insert into your own presentation. Just gives a brief overview of the company. Another good one is this one with all the different product logos. So this is another great slide to insert into your project. Okay, and you'll see here we have a lot of different slides that you can use. They have region slides. They also have different ones for the different verticals, the different products. Okay, another one I want to show you here, we have an agenda slide. So as you see here, you can just go ahead and edit, put your own information in, but this is a great, template to use for your own agenda slides. We also have a company timeline that you can use, so this could also be really useful if you want to insert that as well. And again, you would just, insert your own information and add it there. And as you see here, there's a lot more templates to work with, a lot of different styles where you can insert information. Another good one is the SWOT analysis slide. And we have a lot of different formats and colors for you to work with, so you can choose whichever one you like. Okay, moving on. Now, as you see, we have different services, slides for your services that you can input on there. We also have a lot of, motivational quote slides that you can also insert as well. We have a portfolio section, which is pretty great, because here we have different templates to insert different photos. So you can choose different formats to showcase your photos, a photo gallery if you would like for your presentation. We have a meet our team section, so you can also use that as well. Another really great section I like is the app and web projects section. So this one's really great because here we have different mobile devices, laptops, and you can input your own screenshots. So this is really good if you're trying to show a client a product or try to show them a screenshot of how it would look to their customers or their members. And it's really simple. You can just screenshot it and you just place it in and insert into the icon there. So I really like that section. Also, we have a statistics and report section, and this is also really great if you ever have data points, or data or information that you need to put into graphical form. We have different graphs you can input your information in. Some of these are really easy to edit. You can just change the shape or the size of the different shapes. And then some of them are synced to an Excel spreadsheet, so you can use it in that way too. So these are really great to use. As you see, there's some more here. And all these are editable, so you can always make your own changes so that it fits your information. Another good section is the map section. So again, you can insert these slides into your presentation if you want to show how our regions are broken up for the company. And as you see, we have different colors, different formats for these. So these will be pretty great to use as well. Okay. And then last, we also have a really cool corporate logos and icon section. So this is really great. So if you ever need a logo for any of your presentations, you can just copy and paste these in as you need them. As you see, we have different colors. We have them also for each of the products, so you can use those. And as you see, DMS integration icons. We have also just various miscellaneous icons, and these are great because you can use these throughout your presentation for different topics, and we'll go over that later as well. Okay, so let's go back. We'll open up this blank 2015 template presentation. So as you see here, we just have some blank slides for you to use so that you can, just make your own slides and start your own presentation fresh. Again, make sure you save your own copy to your desktop before you edit anything. So first thing I want to show you here is if you right-click, go to Layout, you can change the layout of your slides here. So this is a good way to, change the formatting of all your slides. You can also, design your own slides on your own. Another thing I want to show you is our color scheme. So let me go back to the presentation template. I'm going to choose a slide for us to work with. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and grab this one. We'll go back to our blank presentation, and I'm just going to go ahead and paste that in. And just a note, when you do copy and paste the slide in, I want to make sure that you use keep source formatting. This will ensure that you have that all the color scheme and presets that we've made for the template are carried over from the original one. So just make sure you keep source formatting when you paste it. Okay. So whenever you're trying to access our color scheme that we've chosen, and these are all the corporate approved colors, you'll want to right-click your shape or your font, and you can go here to Shape Fill, and you'll see here the theme colors are already automatically entered in for you. So try to stick to this top row. These are the corporate approved colors, and you'll be able to access it anyway. So let's say if we wanted to change the font color, same thing, you can go up here, and as you see, it's all automatically preset into the presentation for you. Also, if you right-click it as well, you can go to Format Shape, and you can also change fill color right here, and again, you'll see it all right here. So as long as you copy and paste and keep source formatting, all the presets for the color scheme and the template should be carried through. Okay, so we've gone over those two themes. So next theme is a font. So like I said before, the Open Sans font is the corporate approved font. That's what we recommend you to use. Again, it's not going to be downloaded on most of your computers, so beforehand, make sure you do download it and onto your own system. So again, like I said before, when you're in Common J Drive to Presentations and then to 2015 Template, you'll see the presentation assets. You'll click on that and you'll go here and just make sure you download that onto your system. We definitely want you to stay to one font, and definitely stay to 1 to 3 colors, on your slide. That's just to make sure everything stays consistent. We want your audience to be able to read everything. That's why we want you to stay away from cursive fonts or overly styled fonts like Comic Sans or Lucida or Bradley Hand. Definitely just stick to simple fonts, and like I said, Open Sans is the one we recommend. Also, a good thing to remember is that let's say you have Open Sans downloaded on your computer and you save your presentation, take it out into the field with you and present it on another device, on another computer or laptop that does not have Open Sans installed. A lot of the time that will change the formatting on your presentation. So a good way to ensure that your presentation formatting won't be misplaced with a different font because you're on a different device, we recommend going, let's go to, and as you see here, you'll see instructions for that here. So in case you miss anything, you can always go back and find this. You'll want to go to File, Options, go to Save, and you'll see here, you'll want to click this box right here, Embed Fonts in the File. So this will ensure that your Open Sans font is embedded in your presentation. So regardless where you take your presentation, you will still have your font saved. So it will not, your formatting won't be changed on another device. You'll still have Open Sans font regardless of the device. So make sure you have that box clicked when you save your presentation. So third mistake, choosing poor image quality. So a great theme that we've provided you is we've provided you photo assets for each of the products. So it should be pretty simple for you to find those. We'll go back. So again, we were at Common J Drive, Presentation Assets. So you'll want to click on that. And you'll see here we have each of them separated by the products. we'll go ahead and click on AutoSmart just to give you an example. So as you see here, we already have pictures chosen out for that product that you can use. We even have mobile devices, laptops for you to use, and screenshots. So all of this is there for you to use if you need it. And we want you to be creative, but make sure you're relevant when you do use pictures in your presentation. And we definitely want to make sure that you're using high quality images only. Definitely stick to higher dimensions, like 1024 by 768 or higher if you can. So definitely pay attention to when you are downloading pictures, how large they are. This just makes sure that if you have to make the image bigger, it won't become pixelated or skewed. Also, we want you to stay away from clip art, just because it looks dated and usually it's, you know, of lower resolution and lower quality. So definitely stay away from clip art. And let's say, you know, you take a look at our photo assets and you don't see anything that you want to use. Make sure that if you do go online to find more photos, that you either use a stock photo subscription that you have, or make sure that you're going to a common a copyright-free website. So here I have Flickr Commons, and I also have Wikimedia Commons. You guys can take a look there and find other free images to use in case you don't have a stock image subscription. Okay, so fourth mistake, being all over the place or having lack of organization on your slide. So here we have an example of what not to do. As you see here, there's 3 slides on one, and we definitely don't want you guys to do that. We definitely want to keep, you know, your slide organized. We don't want to overwhelm your audience. We want to make sure that they're getting the most information they can and they're able to comprehend it. So what you'll notice when you're going through the presentation template, we have set up a lot of slides in about like 3 or 4 different formats, and we want you to use those formats when you're making your own slides, if you do have to do that. So for example, you'll see a lot of slides in the presentation template that follow this rule of 1. So that's when there's just one item on the slide. That might be a chart, it might be a picture, or a piece of text, and you're just going to put that in the middle of your slide. And to me, this is the best and most simple way to convey information to your audience. And let me show you some examples of that. So here we have a slide from the template. It's just very simple. We have a laptop. You can insert a screenshot if you would like. And then there's just 3 bullet points of information underneath. And this is just very simple. It keeps your audience, focused on one piece of information, and they won't get overwhelmed by, too much. Here's another example of rule of 1. Another formatting technique is cut it in half. So that's when you're going to cut your slide in half. On one side, you might have a text, a chart, or a picture, and vice versa on the other side. So definitely, use this format if you can. So here's another example from the template. And as you see, they can go down by bullet point or by graphic, and they aren't overwhelmed, and they can see the information easily. Here's another example of that here. Okay, so third one is rule of thirds. So again, that's just if you're, slicing your slide into 3 parts. So here's an example of that there. And we also currently use that for our product slide with our product logo. Another format for rule of thirds is if you have 2/3 of your slide with one piece of information, and then you put another piece of information or chart or picture into the other smaller third side of the slide. So here's an example of that. Okay, so 5th mistake, having too much information on your slide. So here's an example of what not to do. We do not want you to put an essay on your slide. We want you to keep it simple. So definitely don't, do anything like this. So basically, we want you to limit your words when you're designing your slide. Don't clutter it with text. keep your sentences short, and keep to one topic per slide. If it isn't related, make a new slide. It's no problem, to try to cram it all in. It's okay to have, more than one slide per topic, because it will just be easier for your audience to comprehend and to follow along, and they won't get overwhelmed, if there's too much text or too much information on one slide. Third, you're going to want an even balance of images and text, and I definitely say opt for more images and graphics, but I definitely say if you have a sentence of text, add a graphic next to it or put an image with it. Definitely balance it out if you can. And lastly, limit yourself to a maximum of 4 to 5 bullet points per slide. Again, this is just making sure that you don't clutter it with text and that you keep everything concise and to the point. Okay, so our last mistake, not having enough visuals. So I want you to think of your slide as a billboard. Billboards have larger than life images. Billboards rely on imagery instead of text to grab your attention. And if there is text on a billboard, it's the most vital information and it's concise and to the point. So I want you to think of your slides that way. Plus, remember that humans process images 6 times faster than text. So if you have more images, the more likely they're going to process your information and retain it. So we have found a few different ways for you to improve the visuals on your presentations. And first thing we're going to cover is customizing the presentation slides from the template. So here's that slide again. So like I said before, it's just way too cluttered. There's 3 slides in one. We definitely don't want to do this. We have on the right side key businesses, groups, and capabilities. And as you see, it's a lot of text. No one probably would, bother to read that. So I took this side of the slide and I plugged it into one of our template slides. So as you see here, we have separated it into different quadrants. We paired it with a graphic and color. So this just helps your audience go from one point of information to the next. It makes it more visually appealing, and they'll definitely be able to, focus on it more than looking at all that information like the previous slide had. This next slide, as you see, it lacks color. The fonts are kind of all the same size, and it's just kind of a, very cut and dry slide. So to liven that up a bit, I plugged the information from this slide into another template slide, and we have that here. So as you see, we've paired graphics. We've made the percentages a little bigger so that those data points show out more and will be retained easier for your audience. And we added some color. So again, it just makes it more visually appealing, more interesting for your audience to look at and to grasp the information. And here's another one of those slides where, 3 in 1, we, again, don't do that. And as you see, your audience, they wouldn't know which graph to look at first unless you told them. And it's just very overwhelming. There's too much information. So what I did, I grabbed this pie chart right here that we have, the loan composition, and we plug that into another template slide. So as you see here, this one was really simple to do. I just plugged in the different percentages. I changed the different titles for each of the triangles from the pie chart. And as you see, this is just a cleaner look. It's going to be a little more appealing for your audience to look at, and it has a lot, different color to it, and it's not overwhelming because we're only focusing on one graph at a time. So I want you guys to remember that when you're designing your own graphs into slides. Okay. So another way to add more visuals to your presentation is to add photos, of course. And there's a couple of different ways we can add photos. Obviously, you can just go to the Insert tab and insert a picture that way. You'll also notice a lot of the template slides, especially in the apps and web projects section, had the laptops and the mobile devices where they had icons. And you'll see here you can insert a picture using that icon. So let's do an example of that. And again, all this information is in the presentation on the Common J Drive, so you can always look back up these instructions. Okay, so here we have this one. So let's go ahead and do the icon, enter the picture using this icon here. So I'll click on that. And I'm going to use this screenshot we have right here and just go ahead and insert that. So as you see, it fills into the mobile device, and it just looks really good for your audience. You can use any screenshot you want, and it just is a great, clean way of showing your information to your audience. Another way we can insert pictures, let me back out a little. So what you'll notice is a lot of the template slides have these really cool backgrounds on them. And if you want to edit any of those, this is the way you can. So you'll notice a lot of them will have an overlay on them. You'll just want to go ahead and move that. The reason why we put those overlays is, as you see, it makes it darker. So it's just a good way for the text to show up against the background. So let's change this picture. We're going to go ahead and delete it. I'm going to go to the top tab to insert. I'm going to go to picture, and I'm going to go to my photos folder, make this bigger. So I'll just choose this picture right here. I'm going to insert that. So as you see, we have our picture. I'm going to send it to the back so everything, the text and the mobile device are put on front, so send to back. As you see, we have that there. And then I'm going to replace my overlay because we want to make sure that the text and everything stands out, right? So as you see, that's really simple, and you can do that with all of the template slides if you want to exchange the pictures out. Pretty simple to do. Also, one thing we want you to remember when you're inserting photos and graphics into your slide is to maintain the aspect ratio. So here we have instructions on how to do that, but I'm going to show you an example here as well. So here we have that one slide. So let's say if you insert a graphic or a logo into your slide, what a lot of people will do is just stretch it if they wanted to make it bigger. So we'll do that. And as you see, it gets skewed. It gets long. It doesn't maintain its dimensions. We don't want you to do that. Instead, whenever you do need to make a logo bigger or smaller, we want you to grab it from the corner. So grab it from the corner and you stretch it that way. And that'll make sure that you keep your aspect ratio. Sometimes though, when you do extend it from the corner, it might still skew if you move your mouse wrong. So a great way of making sure that you maintain the aspect ratio is to hold the shift button down, then grab it from the corner. And this will also lock the aspect ratio in place. So hold shift and that will also lock the aspect ratio. Another way you can make it bigger or smaller is to right click your object, go to format picture, and again, this will apply to any graphic, any photo that you insert onto your slide. So format picture, the box will open up, we'll go to size, and you'll want to make sure that this box is clicked, lock aspect ratio. Again, this will make sure that your aspect ratio is maintained. And instead of grabbing it from the corner, you can edit the size here. So you can lessen the height if you want, and again, it will automatically change the dimensions there as well. So you can also change the size here and there. And that'll just make sure that your graphics or your photos won't be skewed if you make them bigger or smaller. Okay. Another thing I want to show you an example of is, let's see, let me go back. So you'll notice that we have a lot of these icons throughout the template slide. So let's say if you wanted to change the inside icon so that it matches the topic you're describing, let's show you an example of that. So I'm just going to grab one of the graphics we have here. So as you see, we have all these great icons for you to use. I'm going to go ahead and just grab one. Let's grab this one. I'm going to copy. I'm going to go back to my example. So as you see here, we're just going to delete this laptop. I'm also going to change the color so it shows up a little better. Change it to red. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and paste the icon that I just grabbed from before. So there it goes. I'm going to move it, right? And let's say if we wanted to make it bigger, I'm just going to hold Shift and just drag it a little to make it bigger. And then we can align it in the inside. So as you see there, that's pretty simple, and you can do that with any of the icons you see throughout the template slides, and definitely, you know, change them up so that they actually reference whatever point you're talking about on that particular slide. Okay, another thing we want you to pay attention to is keeping your objects aligned on your slide. So, for example, if you go up to the top tab and go to View, click on Grid Lines. And as you see, there's dotted lines here. Let me go to the previous slide so you can even see it better. So as you see, we have the dotted lines, and this is just great. So if you're designing your slide, you can make sure everything's lined up properly and that you're aligning things in the center or equally across your slide. Definitely use that to help you design. Another tip we would like you to use is the Alt button when you're trying to align things. So one thing I did when I was designing my presentation, I like to keep this color bar on the top. So if I wanted to put a picture on the slide, I didn't want to cover up that colored bar. So let's insert a picture for an example. We'll use this one. So as you see here, if I just grab it with my mouse and try to line it up to the top, I can't get it to perfectly align along that colored bar. As you see, there's a line break there, and we definitely don't want that. We want it to, you know, the break to disappear. So if you hold down the Alt button and then move it, you'll be able to more precisely line your object up and be able to make that break disappear. So as you see, it perfectly lines up. So whenever you want to perfectly line up an object or a photo, use the Alt key, and that will make sure that your photo doesn't snap to the grid, or that you can line it up perfectly where you would like it. Okay, so next, I'm going to show you how to customize some of our graphics that we have in the template. So like I said before, you're going to notice that there's two different types of graphs that you can edit within the template. Some of them are really easy. You can just change the shape and the text and, you know, just put your information in. Other ones are synced to Excel spreadsheets. So let me show you an example of that here. So as you see on this one, so all we have to do is just click on the text. We can change that to, let's say, 45%. And then now, since we made that bigger, let's make the shape bigger as well. So I'm grabbing it from the corner again, and I'm going to just go ahead and make that bigger. I'm going to grab the box, move the box up, right? We also can change the date if we wanted to. So as you see, it's really simple to edit these type of graphs, and you'll definitely have a fun time, you know, entering your data points. Another graph we have is, like I said, they're synced to Excel spreadsheets. So if you click on this graph here, you'll see highlighted by a rectangle. And you'll also notice up here, this green section becomes available. So you'll want to click on Design. You'll want to go to Edit Data. Go ahead and click on that. And an Excel spreadsheet will pop up. And you can enter all your own data in. And what's great is that it's a live update. So as soon as you enter new data points, it will update on the graph as well. So let's change some of these points. I'm going to change this one to a 1. right? You see that went down. I'm going to change this one to 5. Right? And again, you can just change all of these if you want. And all the changes are made live on the other side. So again, there's tons of graphs like these. You can find whichever one might fit your, your data better, and you can just input your own information. Another way to add visuals is to add video. And there's a few different ways to add video to your presentation. First way is the most obvious, which is just to insert it, just like we inserted the photos. You can insert video the same way. You can also embed a video by using an embed code from the internet. Right now, YouTube is the only embed codes we can use with PowerPoint. Also, another thing to remember is that if you have PowerPoint 2010 and earlier, you will need to install Apple QuickTime in order to play or view MP4 videos in your presentation. So again, 2010, PowerPoint and earlier, you'll need Apple QuickTime to view MP4 videos. So just remember that also when you're out in the field and trying to play videos, make sure that they, what version of PowerPoint they have if you're not using your own laptop. Also, the same goes if you have PowerPoint 2013 and later, you'll be able to view MP4 and WMV videos without installing anything. So if you have 2013 and later, you're totally fine. You don't have to worry about installing anything. And same thing goes for YouTube videos. Make sure that you have the latest versions and the latest updates of PowerPoint on your device. That way the embed code will play if you use a YouTube video. But we do recommend that you use the file on your computer. You can use YouTube, it's another option, but we suggest using the file off of your computer instead. And just to make sure that, in case any of these options fail, that you have an external link or a flash drive with your video available to you, so that in case, YouTube fails or a file on your computer fails, or the PowerPoint isn't updated, then you won't have to worry about your video not playing when you're presenting. So let's show you some examples of that. So the first way to insert a video, we go to the top tab, Insert, and we're going to go down here to Video, and we'll click Video from File. I'm going to go to my drive. I'm just going to click on this video right here. Okay, so as you see, we have our video, automatically populates. I'm going to scale that to size, again, using my Shift key and from the corner. Right, so we have the size there, and we can just go ahead and play that right away. This is actually the CDirect overview video, so this might be a good thing to use in your presentations as well. Right, so that's one way to insert a video. Another way is to insert it from a website. Let me grab the link for us. So I'm going to grab a YouTube video link here. I'm going to paste that in. Okay, so again, we have the CDirect overview video. First thing you're going to want to do is go to Share, go to Embed, and you'll want to grab this code right here. So I'm going to copy that, go back to my presentation. Again, I'm going to go back up to the Insert tab in PowerPoint, go to Video, and click on Video from Website. And I'm going to go ahead and paste that. And Insert. So as you see, we just have a black box here. I'm going to go ahead and scale this one as well. Place it where I want. Okay, so when you insert a video from YouTube, you will not see it in the design mode, but when you go to Slideshow, it will be there. So as you see, you can just click on that and play it from there. And that's just another option to you. But like I said before, we want you to definitely use the videos from your file first. Okay, so here's the overview of all the mistakes we've covered. And definitely make sure you go over these every time you're about to design your own presentation. CDirect's collection of assets really will help you avoid these common mistakes. And we want you to start using all of these assets right away. Start using the template, start using all the graphics and the photos. It's going to definitely make your presentation look so much better and consistent, and it's going to really wow your audience. In addition to finding these assets on the J Drive where I showed you, we will also be emailing you a link with all the assets as well shortly after this presentation, so that in case you're ever out in the field, you'll still be able to access all of these great themes. And if you guys have any questions, we can go ahead and go to that. And thank you so much.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and end the session now. If you have any other questions that may come up, go ahead and feel free to email me at learning@cdirect.com. Also, just a reminder that we will be sending out the follow-up communication, so go ahead and look out for that. And again, thanks so much, everyone, for joining us.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody.